So March of 2012, at the age of 15, is when I started parkour.
Have you ever wanted to make money? Well, watch this. I will take you through a one lesson plan. £50 a week and you'll be just like me. What's this? This is just crazy stuff. Oh my god, my bed. He took my 2-week trial. And watch him go. Come on, Homo. You see, he's just like me. Don't fall. She's as stunty as me.
The problem I had no one to do it with. I was always on my own, like trying to do parkour, and I was always thinking to myself, am I ever gonna have someone to do this with? Am I always gonna be on my own doing this? Not realising I was about to meet my best friend. June of that year, I was at this birthday party. It was going alright. At one point, it's as something put it together that I would meet my best friend. So here I am, I'm on my own. I'm walking in the kitchen of this house that we're in, and I just see my cousin Ethan on his own, and like there was no one really in the kitchen, and he was on his iPod and he was playing some like knockoff of Grand Theft Auto. I can't remember what it was called. He probably remembers, but I don't. So me and Ethan just start talking about random things. He comes out with the one question that started our friendship. Ethan says like, what do you do for fun, like what are you into? And like when he asked that question, and my answer was really where the friendship started, because I said to him, you know a game called Mirror's Edge? And he went, yeah. I do the stuff off that, you know, parkour. And he said, me too. And it was just like, as soon as he said that, we clicked. We were just going on about certain things and like, how did he get into it? And we both got into it, like, in different ways really. But it was, we both enjoyed the same game, and I was telling him I was really into this game, and like it started me doing parkour. It turns out he'd been doing it about a few months before, like about a month before or something like that. But it was just like so cool, and it was as if something put it there, and I still can't explain it, but yeah. So at one point me and Ethan go outside, and then he climbs up this wall, jumps off, does a roll on the floor. I'm like, whoa. I tell him like, how'd you do that? I really want to learn how to do that. So he takes me on the grass near the party, like, and people in the party are watching us do whatever, and like, yeah, he takes me on some grass across the road. He just shows me the technique. He tells me how to put my hands and stuff, and in just a few tries I got it, and it was just like I learned how to roll because of Ethan and because of having that connection with someone. It was so cool, and it's just like I'm getting excited now. It's just really cool, and I felt like a superhero. You know when superheroes jump off stuff and they roll, it just felt like that. Yeah, during the park we're climbing on walls, we're doing stuff like that, and then at one point during my time of doing those videos back in 2011, there was a few people that didn't like it, and Ethan was one of them. Like, he even messaged me at one point saying, Dave, stop doing these videos, you're embarrassing yourself. But then he tells me he didn't mean it in a bad way. He did kind of think something was up with me, like I had some mental illness or something. Like, not in a horrible way, just, it's the way it looks on video, like someone's going crazy, they're acting in these stupid ways, they suddenly change you from one emotion to another, and if you didn't know me, you'd think that. And like, yeah, we talk about it, and he was just saying he didn't mean it in a bad way, he was just advising. And little did you know it, Ethan loads it up on his phone, we're watching it, we're laughing at it. And people in the party saw my video as well, and they're quoting it, we're all having one big laugh. And it's just like so cool to see something I made that people enjoyed. Yeah, it was a bit weird. But so the party's coming to a close, and like me and Ethan have been jumping on a lot of walls in an area that really don't have that kind, don't stand for that kind of thing. So just as we're leaving, Ethan says like, hey Dave, do you want to meet up sometime after school, and like I'll show you some cool places that that me and some other people have been in, and I can show you some good spots for parkour that I know. And I was like, yeah, sure. We leave, we plan to meet up sometime, but then the police turn up. I don't know if Ethan remembers this. So yeah, Ethan and his mum were getting in a taxi, and like there was no way out the street without leaving in that taxi and without getting pulled over by the police. So me, my mum and other people had to sneak in this taxi with Ethan and his mum. It was just, we had to like go past, but that was the first instance of like us doing parkour together, and it was so cool. Well, we couldn't really do much because I didn't know much moves, but it was just so cool. That day I won't forget, because that was where me and Ethan slowly started to develop our friendship. Because before that, me and Ethan never really knew each other much. Yeah, before we moved house, we lived like 15 minutes away, if that, 15 to 20 minutes away from each other. And like I'd go over his house on occasion, we'd play games together on the PS2. Play anything really. When we started growing up, we was never really close. Little did I know all that was about to change after that day. So it wasn't until the next day really, Ethan met up with me during school. We still went to the same high school, so it was cool, but we never really like spoke much. You know, he started telling me we can go this and this place, and he tells me about our old abandoned school. Our school basically moved to another building, but left the old building still there with stuff still in it. So we get there after school, because he'd been in there a few times. He's telling me stories of people he's been in there with, and how we went in there one time and there was people throwing desks and stuff and things. And it's just like, whoa, things that I never even thought would happen in a school. And the abandoned school happens. But when we get there was something me and Ethan both spotted that we really wanted to go on, and that was the roof. I think he'd been on there before, but I wasn't too sure, but wouldn't you have it, because I was so weak at the time, Ethan had to help me get on the roof. It was embarrassing because I couldn't get up the basic parts, but thanks to Ethan I got on the roof. Like, there was an easier way to get up, and we used like a sunroof thing that was really cool. So after a while, not long after we got up there, we just sat there. Like, he was into some of the similar music I was, so we put on some Linkin Park. We just sat there, chilled out, we were just talking. And then we both spotted this roof gap that we wanted to do. And it was just like, yeah. So this jump was like from a 2-story building onto a 1-story building. And because of the way the roof was shaped, it looking really difficult, but in our minds we knew we could do it. It was just like we had to keep walking up to the edge, kind of run into it. We'd tell ourselves to go, and we'd kind of head to the edge, but then we'd stop. We was in that school for quite a while because we didn't just go straight to the roof. We was showing me all the rooms, so we was there for a couple of hours. And by the time we was getting up to this roof gap, it was getting dark. Because it was getting late and it started to get really dark, so vision wasn't the greatest, we just had to leave it, and we'd planned to go back another day and do the jump. And the following day, everyone in my year at school had all these smart clothes on. So did I. Felt really strange. At one point I'm getting ready to leave, but Ethan's coming down the stairs. At one point he says, "Dave, do you want to meet up again after school?" And I told him it all depends what time this interview thing finishes, but yeah, I'm up for that. We can go and try that roof jump. And so yeah, hours go by, I go to my interview. Didn't go as planned, just things never worked out. But I still decided I'm going to meet up with Ethan today, at least something good can come out of this. We did the same thing, but this time we head straight to the roof because we wanted to do this jump. Like, it's still quite scary, we still wasn't really prepared. So for a while, me and Ethan, we were psyching ourselves up for this jump. We were just sitting there, like, psyching ourselves up, telling ourselves we can do this, we can do this. So after a while, we're really ready for this jump. Like, nothing was gonna stop us from doing this jump. And like, so we run, and in my head, I thought I could do it, but as soon as I got to that edge, I just stopped. And suddenly, I back out in fear. We're right by the edge, I back out, I stop. Because Ethan had a lot of momentum, a lot of speed. He couldn't stop, and he carried on running. He had to do the jump, even though, because I'd stopped, I think in his mind, he was like, okay, I can't stop now because of the drop down below. So he jumps, he lands, He laughs to start with because of the way he lands, and he's like, and then he's like, ah, and then here I am now stuck, and he's like, he's kind of in pain suddenly in his foot, and he's like, I'm like, okay, I'll do the jump, I'll come over to you, but he was screaming no. But I could just imagine if I had have done the jump and landed funny as well. So I had to spend a while getting down, descending, climbing through the school, just to meet him all the way round. It wasn't very easy getting him out there, because at this time I wasn't even strong, and to carry a person it wasn't very easy. He was kind of hung over to me on his shoulder and stuff, and we're getting out of school, and like we have to stop at the bottom of this road. So I'm running to his house, I tell his mum, I say he did this jump, like, and I backed down in fear, and like she could tell something was wrong due to the way he was acting. So me, his mom, his uncle, my cousin Michael, we all run down the road to go and get him. I go home thinking, okay, there's nothing more I can do. She thanks me for telling her what happened and stuff, and then later on it turns out Ethan broke his foot. Due to the way he landed, I think he broke it in 2 places, I'm not too sure, but yeah, he broke his foot, and that would mean he would have to take about a 6 to 4 week break from parkour. Nearly 2 months away, just when he had started. So yeah, I didn't see him for a while. Like, I still went over his house, like we started to get to know each other a bit more. But I remember at one point I went round his house, like, and his foot started to heal at this point. Like he didn't no longer have the cast on or anything, but he still couldn't really do parkour. But because I was hanging about with him a lot, I remember I stayed over his house for the first ever time, and like we was playing none other than Mirror's Edge. We was really enjoying the game. Yeah, I remember like he could kind of do stuff on his foot, but he said he told me like he don't know if he really wants to go and do parkour again. I had to convince him and talk him into giving it another try, like, and obviously it wasn't all down to me, it was his choice as well. So yeah, we start training a little bit by bit, we start training again, and it's really cool. Like we started to get known around the area for the free runners and stuff, and yet the same old thing would happen, people would take the mick out of us, but most people found it cool. Yeah, we couldn't do that much, but it was just like, it was really cool. So about 2 months later we start training and getting to know each other more, and Ethan starts telling me about Michael. There was one thing he told me that they used to do together, and that was make their own homemade movies. And it was really cool to see what they'd done, and these homemade movies were really good. They made their own homemade movies called Metal Gear Missions, based on the gaming franchise with the same name.
It's over.
It's already over, American.
Hand over the virus now.
Go to hell, Ethan.
Michael had like planned these out for years and they'd spent a lot of time doing them. And by the time, they were really good. And I still enjoy watching them today. Besides the filming, him and Michael did something else as well, and that was something called urbexing. Because urbexing is like exploration of abandoned buildings and tunnels. But yeah, urbexing has been around for a long time as well. It's got its own sub-community of people all around the world that go in these abandoned places. On sites such as 28 Days Later and on YouTube, you can find a lot of different people doing a lot of different urbexing. That's also how Ethan had found out about the school being abandoned because of urbexing. So when I wasn't with Ethan half the time, he'd been telling Michael about me and him doing parkour, and Michael really wanted to join us, you know, see what we get up to and what we do. So on one cold night round about October, September, something like that, it was a really cold night, me, Ethan and Michael start to do parkour.